Hello everybody. Today we're going to see how I draw Laguna. Alright, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch just to make sure I get everything in here. And you may not be able to see it, but that's okay. Don't worry about it because this is mostly for me. Just to make sure I get everything in its right place, and then I'll switch over to sharpies, and you can see everything much better. So don't freak out, don't worry about it, no big deal. And then we'll get to drawing. But yeah, like I said, this is mostly for me because I need to make sure I get everything in the right place and get everything on here for you guys. And make sure I don't miss anything, because sometimes I'll forget stuff. It happens, and instead of having to start over, I'd rather just do it right the first time, and just spend a little extra time sketching it out to make sure that I've got it where it needs to be, you know? And one day you guys will figure out how to do this too. It's not hard. You just gotta know anatomy and practice. That's really the whole trick of everything. I'm going to say this over and over again because I like making this joke, is how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. It's an old joke about, it sounds like you're asking for directions, but the answer is telling you to improve yourself if you want to play something, if you want to play at a prestigious place like Carnegie Hall. But it applies to art, anything really, very much so, because you know that's how you get good at something, is practicing over and over again. So that's all I can really tell you as far as advice, is just you just got to learn to keep going, and it's not going to look good at first. You know, you may even be like, "Ooh, I'm going to quit." But the best thing to do is just keep going, you know, because even look, this sketch, I don't like it. I don't like it at all, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep messing with it. I'm going to keep adding lines until I like where it is. And that's all you can really do, is just keep trying, keep practicing. And I think I'm going to do her hand like this. And that's the other thing with sketches like this, is I got to figure out what I'm going to do with everything, because I want her to look strong, I want her to look good, and I'm just going to keep sketching until I'm happy with it. I'm getting closer, I'm almost there, I'm getting much happier now. And maybe that's what it is too. Sometimes once you start to flesh out the character, so to speak, all the things that you were worried about or didn't like start to look better, because like certain lines were missing. You're like, oh, okay, if I would have done this, it would have looked right, you know. So it kind of needs the rest of the lines to look pretty good. So see, I'm starting to like where this is going now. So I'm gonna have her hand over her hip like that. So I gotta kind of accentuate certain parts to make it look right. Okay, so I think I'm about ready to go. I think I'm happy with where it's going. So I am going to go ahead and switch over to Sharpie. And you're welcome to start with the pencil or use Sharpie as well. But I'm going to start with this pen Sharpie first because it's super fine. Because I like to do the eyes and make sure that I've got them the way I want them. Because if I don't have the eyes right, I'm not happy with it. So I'm going to kind of do slanted almonds is the best way I can describe it. And try to make myself happy with these eyes. So that's about all I can do, is like that, because the coloring is going to take care of the rest. And now I'm going to give her some eyebrows like this, and I'm going to draw just a few tiny little notches for the face, for the nose, because coloring is going to kind of take care of the rest. I'm going to do this because her her hair is kind of coming over, so I've kind of stopped and started there just because my sketch tells me what I'm going to be doing, okay? So I'm going to give her a little bit of a smile, just a hair, like that on the ends. So now I'm going to come up here with the top lip, come here with the bottom lip, and draw the edges of her face. And then I'm going to switch over to the big Sharpie, but I wanted to do this because the big Sharpie can't handle all these lines. So I'm going to have her part like this right here. That'll define that I'm going to come in here and add a few tiny little hairs for the front, and then a big one kind of like this. And so this, I'm kind of stylizing the look of her hair. I'm going by picture, so I know she's got like these things in front and then the rest is pulled back. So I'm kind of doing this just to give myself a little bit of freedom to give her that certain look, and to thicken it up just a bit to control it better, really is what it is, because this other Sharpie is super thick, so it's going to stand out a little bit. So I'm trying to make it work together, because I don't want all the lines super thick, just some of them, you know. And so I'm going to draw her neck in here like this. This is just to give me a few defining edges, and so the rest I can do with the big fat Sharpie. But like I said, it's kind of a bit too big in certain parts, so I want to do this just to control it better. And so her hair is kind of flowing up here, but there's an edge right there where it starts, like where it grows out of her head, and then it kind of flips up like this. Ooh, my pen's dying. I have to get another one. Okay, and so again, I'm going to thicken it up just a little bit, and you'll see why later once I start adding the bigger Sharpie. So, okay, so I'm going to add this edge here. Oof, it's definitely dying. So I'm going to try to finish up what I can with this Sharpie before it completely dies on me. And just thicken it up just a hair, and then do the same thing over here, just so I have a little bit more control. Okay. Alright, I think I'm happy with the head, so I'm going to switch over. Let's do one more line. Woo! Like that. And I'm going to switch over to the big Sharpie, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So watch this. So, her hair is in a braid, or in a ponytail off to the side of her head, so I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to do like that, and that'll kind of stylize the way it's going, okay? Now see how much thicker that is, and there's no way I can control all that with this, so that's why I was adding what I could with that tiny Sharpie, and then moving back to this. So now I can draw the rest of her body, and see, really thick, which is good. It's what the Sharpie is, you know, but I want to be able to control it much better. So, excuse me. So let's draw the rest of her body. So I'm going to draw her shoulders like this, down to this little piece that is wrapped around her arm. That's just a defining piece is what that's going to be. That'll tell me where to stop and to start. Stopping and starting points are good things to work with. And so now I can draw the back of her rib cage down to her where her hand's going to be, and I'm going to draw. Let's see. I'll go ahead and draw her waist like this to give us a defining edge, and I can bring her stomach up like this to her chest, and oh yeah, I can draw also the straps of her backpack because all the characters have them, and I can draw her other arm over here like this. So I'm going to draw her arm kind of up in a defiant pose. So I'm going to draw the shoulder down to her forearm, which is going to be right there. Do the bottom of her leg, the back of her arm. Woof, I'm all over the place. The back of her arm here to her forearm, connected the elbow there, and this is where her gloves are going to be. Okay, and I'm going to have her hand up in a fist. So let's draw that. So I'm going to draw her the meat of her hand here to her pinky. Her pinky I'm going to draw like this. And I'm just going to kind of add a few definitions there. And so I'm going to put her thumb in front like that. And so now I can draw the other fingers back behind it. So I'm not going to draw them all because A, you can't see them all, and B, they disappear, you know, especially with this big fat Sharpie. So we're going to finish it up like that. So now let's go ahead and do this other arm. So this hand I'm having back behind her hip. So the thumb is back there like that. So that means I'm going to draw the top of the hand here and then the bottom of the glove there. And so now I'm going to draw the other fingers like this. Okay, and so that means her knuckles are kind of like this. But it's all gonna kind of disappear with color anyway, so that'll take care of what we can see of her hand wrapping around her hip. Okay, I'm going to define a little bit more of an edge right there. Looks kind of funky, but you'll see what I'm talking about again once all of the other lines get added on. And this is what I was talking about, how you might not be happy with it, but it'll work once everything else is together. So she's got the typical communicator wrist thing. I don't know what they are, but they're on every other character. They never get used, but it's just part of the design. So we're just going to add that. So there's the rest of her forearm that I can draw to her bicep. And that'll finish off her arm right there. So now we can draw the rest of her. So she's got a belt. That we'll just do something like this. Okay. And we can draw her legs. Now she's got a lot of detail in the chest, as far as like this tech looking armor. But I'm gonna take care of that with color. Same thing with her pants. They're like this camouflage looking thing, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna take care of that with color. So I'm gonna draw her bottom to her legs, and then down to her boots like this. Okay, and so I'm gonna do the same thing with her inner leg, like that. Down to her boots like that. Then do the other leg down like this. And she's got a knee pad on this one, so we can go ahead and add that defining line and finish it off like that behind that leg. So there are a couple of straps on this one. We can do like that. And then let's draw in that knee pad. So it's got the front part like that, and the bottom where it connects, and we can draw the Shin Guard. Now the Shin Guard has a couple straps holding it together, and they're in front, so I want to draw those first. Now I can draw the rest of it, again based on my sketch, so I can kind of get away with floating things like that. And then I can draw her boots and the rest of her pants. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do something like this, and let's see, her pants are going to be right there. So now let's draw this boot down like this, down to her shoes, and let's draw this part down like that. Then we're going to draw those big old treads everybody has. And I'm just kind of doing like a stair step little thing. Doesn't matter if it's exact. This is our drawing. We do it how we want to do it. We draw it how we want to draw it. Okay? And so there's laces going all the way up. We're not going to worry about that. We'll take care of that with color. And all I'm going to do, this last part, is add just a few little details in the pants, just to show kind of like a crease material. Something like that. So we'll do the same thing here, just a little bit of crease material, just to show that it's pants, it's material, you know, that there's bumps and creases in it, like it moves, you know, it's not metal. So I'm going to take care of coloring with the rest. So for now, that is Laguna. So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.